Alright, so here we are. We got our recipe for our cheddar cheese biscuits, cannabis infused. We'll have everything in here. We have our 1:1 ratio of butter, cheese, and flour. I've just added a little bit of Italian herbs, a little bit of salt and paprika, and that is about it. Of course, going into here, blend of decarboxylated hybrid, and that has been blended up, decarboxylated, then sifted to remove any stems. And yeah, so I'm only going to put in about 1 gram and a bit. As much flour as you remove, you can replace that with the cannabis here, so that's okay. But of course, you can't really go too much farther than 30%, or the texture and structure might not be as stable. Pop it all in. I have about 20 grams of Parmesan cheese, following that by about 15 grams of cheddar cheese, just some basic from the grocery store, so that is what it is. Following that will be about 1 teaspoon of water, and that'll bring the dough all together. But first, of course, we're going to blend all this together and bring this to texture. So of course, we now have everything blended up. As you can see, it's a nice coarse texture, almost like quinoa. So from here, we're just going to work a little bit at a time. We have some water. Put in a small bit at a time, only like a couple of grams. And this will slowly come to a ball. As you can see, now it's come along the sides are smooth, clean. This is one piece. We're just gonna move that by hand and be done with it. That's about it. So back in the kitchen, we just have everything. We have our ball here, cheese, butter, and flour essentially. A little bit of cannabis. Comes off the bowl clean, right? Roughly. It's not matted, so that should be okay. If anything, there's a little bit too much water in this, but that shouldn't be too big of a problem. So we have our plastic wrap, and we have our dough. Flatten it out a little bit. Help round it off, as you can see. Just a small little bit. I like to make sure it's a little tight. And then from here, since this dough is so pliable, you can technically just, while it's soft and chilled slightly, roll it to shape. This way you have a nice consistent portion here. Alternatively, if you wanted to have a more consistent portion, you could roll it all out into a sheet and then cookie cutter it. That'll give you the same results, or if anything, slightly better. We're just making this for ourselves. We could just take a slice and make sure it's consistent. This would be about 1 tray's worth. We're just gonna have the butter now set for when we cut it. Putting this in the fridge or freezer for about 5 or 10 minutes. 5 minutes in the freezer, 10 minutes in the fridge. Alternatively, you can freeze this overnight and use it whenever. You can freeze it for about a month. Following that, you just take it out, slice it, and there you go. You can bake it right away from frozen, actually. So you can play around with the temperatures. So here we just got the log here now slightly more set. We're just gonna make a cut. Look at the diameter, about 1/2 inch. So yeah, that's as far as that goes. We're just gonna bring these into the oven for about 5 to 8 minutes and see how they are from there. And there we go. We just have some Parmesan cheddar cheese cookies. It's nothing too crazy. Of course, the consistency across the board isn't that good, like the end pieces, and overall everything's a little abstract, but it's not too bad. These were baked actually at 400 for about 10 to 12 minutes. Not too bad. A little oily, buttery. Good crisp on the bottom, but it's not too crisp. It's just like a firm shortbread cookie. These will last outside about a week, maybe 5 days. If it's a baked product, we can technically keep these in the fridge for about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, should be okay. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.